You walk into a store. Within the first 5 minutes, your brain has already decided how this visit is going to go. Whether you're going to browse or bolt, whether you're going to splurge or stick to your list. And the variable most responsible for that 5-minute verdict isn't the lighting, it isn't the layout, and it isn't the greeting from the staff. It's the music. And the way it shapes your experience is far stranger than you'd expect. Research published in the Journal of Retailing demonstrates this with actual purchase receipts. They measured the emotional state of shoppers at 5 minutes into their store visit, and then tracked what they bought. The result? The pleasure a customer felt at the 5-minute mark was the single strongest predictor of how much unplanned spending occurred. Not the products on display, not the sales, the feeling in the air. And an earlier study from the same journal established the framework behind it, the PAD model, showing that store environments generate emotional responses along pleasure, arousal, and dominance dimensions, with the pleasure being the primary driver of approach behavior. Your customer's experience isn't about what they see, it's about how the environment makes them feel. Here's where the customer experience gets genuinely strange. A study in the Journal of Business Research discovered that music distorts time perception. When shoppers heard unfamiliar music, they stayed longer in the store, but reported their visits as feeling shorter. Familiar music did the opposite. Shorter visits felt longer. This isn't a small effect either. It's a fundamental shift in the subjective experience of being in your store. With the right music, a 30-minute browse can feel like 15 minutes. Your customer walks out thinking, that was quick, while having spent twice as long with your products as they would have otherwise. The customer experience is multisensory, and music has to work not against every other signal in your environment. A study in the Journal of Retailing tested what happens when music and scent match versus mismatch on the arousal level. When both were high arousal or both were low arousal, customers reported better experiences and higher satisfaction. But when one was energizing and the other was calming, the mismatch produced worse outcomes than either stimulus alone. Your customer's brain is constantly integrating signals. When those signals conflict, the experience feels off. If the customer can't articulate why, even if the customer can't articulate why. This was reinforced in a study in the Journal of Business Research on Christmas retail environments. Pine scent without Christmas music made the experience feel wrong, incongruent, but pine scent with Christmas music created a coherent seasonal experience that customers rated highly. The lesson? Music isn't just about music. It's about whether the full sensory story holds together. Most retailers think about volume in terms of loud versus quiet, an aesthetic preference. But the research shows volume directly shapes the character of the customer experience. From the early research from the Journal of Applied Psychology found that loud music makes people move through spaces faster without reducing what they buy. It creates an energized, efficient experience. A study in the Journal of the Academy of Marketing Scientists found something even more specific. Low volume made people choose healthier food options. The volume wasn't changing what was available, it was changing the customer's internal state, their arousal level, which shifted their decision-making style from impulsive to reflective. Volume doesn't just make your store louder or quieter, it changes who your customer becomes while they're inside. A study in environment and behavior compared classical music, pop music, and silence in restaurants. Pop music produced spending almost identical to silence, about the same per head. It wasn't adding anything to the experience. But research in the Journal of Business Research went further. Music that doesn't fit the brand actively damages the customer experience. It doesn't just fail to help. Customers who sense a misfit between the audio and the brand identity downgrade their perception of the store. You'd be better off in silence than running music that feels wrong. The customer experience is built from sensory signals, and music is the most powerful, the most adjustable one that you have. But adjustable just means you actually have to adjust it by time of day, by traffic, by season, the full sensory context of your store. That's what Entuned does. We generate music that's calibrated to create the specific experience your store needs right now, in this moment. Because a great customer experience isn't an accident, it's engineered. I'm covering all 28 studies on music and retail on this channel, the data behind every claim. Subscribe and follow along if you want your store's music to actually shape the customer experience instead of just filling dead air. Entuned is free tier forever. There's no credit card required. If you go to entuned.co, T-U-N-E-D, you'll find that there. The link is in the description.